I'm Linda Rozier.
I'm Randall Rozier, and we're from Warner Robins, Georgia. Our son's name is Aiden, and we adopted him and his brother when they were 3 and 4 years old. And Aiden always wanted to play football, so he went out for football one year, and the second year he went out, I kept noticing when he was on the field that he wouldn't run like he was supposed to. He didn't put his leg down and give it all he had, you know. So I asked the coach, I said, well, Rick, what's going on with him? Pay attention, you know, see why he won't run or whatever. So this went on for 3 practices, I think it was. And finally on the 3rd practice, he wouldn't even hardly touch the floor, touch the ground at all with his foot. We said, we got to do something about this. So the next day we carried him to the doctor. And I stayed out in the waiting room while she went in the back with him. And they done an x-ray on it. And they come back and they told her that he had a tumor on his leg. Now here we were not expecting anything other than just like a little bump or something, you know, because it didn't look anything other than just like a mosquito bite or something that had swelled up. So we thought, you know, that's all it was, and then they told us it was cancer. We had no idea what we was up against. I mean, we've never been involved in anything of this sort, so we had no idea what we were up against. So they started him on chemo in September. We found it out in August. They started in September starting his chemo. It was 3 days 1 week, 5 days the next week, and we'd have 2 weeks off, or a week and a half, about a week and a half off, and then go back and start all over again. And they come up and told us, and said, well, it's not really doing anything at all. The chemo is not working, so we don't know what we're really going to do with him. But then they come back and told us, said, well, you know, it's terminal, so we're going to have to, you know, just do the best we can. So what you need to do is just let him do what he wants to do, you know, stuff like this. It was just it was a shock all the way around. I mean, because, you know, I had no idea that I was going to wind up with a kid with one leg, you know, and didn't really know how to face it. It really took a toll on us. He has no idea how bad it really is, but his lungs are completely just, I mean, they got all kind of spots in his lungs. And where they're located at, they can't do radiation on it because it's too close to his vessels or something that they said. I don't know exactly what all that amounted to, but if it was too close to his vessels or something, they couldn't do it. But they wound up with it. He's got cancer in his other leg, up in his hip, and now he's got a spot on his stump that's come up. And I think he got one in his right hip also, or just on his stump?
Just
down on his stump there. So I've got faith that, you know, the Lord will take care of him how he sees fit, and I'm not going to lose that faith over it. You know, whichever way it turns out, it's just going to happen. And I'm not going to lose my faith over it, you know. But I mean, it's taking its toll on us, but still, you know, we're pulling through.
I guess you'd call it our new normal, because instead of him running around playing, he has an Xbox and a Switch and an iPad. So he just takes that most of his day. But now he's doing virtual school. So, but he's coping with it. He's just, everything that he's had a lot, and he just coped with it and just figures out he plays chase with his brother, and if I told him he couldn't play chase with a one-legged person on crutches, so he'll take his flip-flop and throw it at Aiden, at Martin, and say, you're it now. So he just adapted. You know, kids are resilient, like, you know, they bounce back. So he's everybody should look at him and say, you know, he's a picture of what you should do. You know, when you're down and people complain, but then when you see him, he's happy, smiling, hopping around. So,
but I told him, I said, you know, just because you've got this cancer, don't let it get you down. If you can do anything you want to do, as long as you will push forward to do it.
So I guess that's his.
And you can't sit down and say, I can't do this, I can't do it. You can't do that. You've got to get yourself up and go and keep on going. The longer you sit around just moping about it, the worse it's going to be on you, you know. And you're a strong little boy, and just get out and do what you want to do. And you may not be able to do it exactly like you want to do it. I said, but you can get out and do it. You can make it work some kind of way. But you just got to push yourself to do it.
Martin kind of takes the role of the big brother. He takes care of Aiden. He'll go get his crutches. He'll ask Aiden, what do you want me to get? What do you want? So he's kind of taken that, you know, to help Aiden, anything he can to help him. He'll say, I got to get this for Aiden. Aiden wants me to get this. So he tries to take care of Aiden.
He had a rough start to begin with, because when we go to the hospital, we always leave him with our youngest daughter, and he didn't know really how to take what was going on, and he'd get upset because Aiden would get stuff, and which we come from the hospital, Aiden would always have a bunch of toys and stuff like that they give him at the hospital, and I think he got a little jealous about that, and then the fact that that Aiden couldn't really get out and play with him too. That he stayed in the hospital so much that he didn't see him like he wanted to see him. He couldn't come to the hospital to see him, stuff like that. And he kind of had withdrawals there for a little while, but it finally worked up to where he's at now. And he don't have any problems at all now with it. He's pretty much comfortable with everything that's going on with him.
When the hospital will only allow one parent to go because of the COVID, that was a good thing for Martin. So one of us would stay with him, and when we go with Aiden, so that's how he adjusted better. When we first found out, it was like you were just in shock. You couldn't process it. And then we had so many people in our area, and especially Jay's Hope helped us so much. And they would bring us gas cards, because we would come to Eggleston and bring us food cards and just help us and say, what do you need? I'll pay your rent, helping you out. So find an organization like that. Look for Jay's Hope if you're in the Middle Georgia area. But there's so many cancer people that help, foundations like Cure, childhood cancer, lemonade stand. There's so many that will help, that you can just get in contact with them, and they're just offering. They will pay any bills for you, because like me, I worked, and I tried to work and still come to the hospital, but it wasn't working, so I just decided to take off work. So help with the income, help someone get with them, and anything, help them see what they need and help them out. And just rely on your family. Your family you're like a church family. They're there to help you. People don't know what to do, and it was hard for me to take people that would offer stuff, and it was hard for us to receive. But just anybody wants to help, just let them help you, because it's a long, hard journey, and you get worn out.
The biggest thing I would say to that is get with a support group. Find a support group. There's plenty of them out there that's going through the same thing you're going. You don't have to do it alone, And once you realize that, it kind of takes the burden off of you to a certain extent. I mean, you're always going to have it there anyway. But you got people to talk to. You wind up making friends through all of it.
Friends for life.
Friends for life that you would have never had before. But, and that would be my biggest thing, is just find a support group somewhere, and just take full advantage of it. I mean, even though, like she was saying, you don't feel like taking everything, but you need to do what you need to do it. I mean, these people are out here willing to help you. Accept what they're giving you. They're taking this from the bottom of their heart to give to you, and it's really hard, like I say, to accept in a lot of situations. Just like with us now, we've always been on the giving side of stuff, never receiving anything like this. But now that we're having to go through this, times get hard. I ain't gonna tell no lie about it. Times get really hard, because it gets to the point where at some point you can possibly lose everything you got through, going through this, if you don't get somebody to help you with it. And you need all the help you can get. So just accept it, and be done with it. Even though you're going through all this, you still got bills that's going to be coming in. You've got to manage somehow or another to pay them, or you lose everything, And I don't want that to happen, so we do the best we can do. And, like she said, I got a charge card. If it gets down to where I have to, I will put stuff on it. I have done it, and if I have to, I'll do it again, But it's just cancer all the way around. Cancer is just a rough thing to look at. It don't care how old you are, how young you are. It don't care what color you are. It just don't care. It gets anybody. It don't discriminate at all about it. And then once you get there to that point, you just wind up out-of-pocket expenses for, even though, like she said, all of his medical's taken care of, but we go to the hospital and stay for, a week at a time. We got to eat while we're there, and stuff like that, driving back and forth. it's 100 miles from my house to the hospital. And, you know, you drive that 3 or 4 times a week, you know, back and forth. It gets expensive driving like that. And, you know, so you have to be willing to accept on account of stuff like that. If you don't do it, you're just not going to be able to keep on going. It's going to get to you and it's going to take you down eventually.
The only thing that really has affected us is Martin, really, him being left out. But Randall will take him, and he loves to go eat. Randall takes him to Zaxby's, you know, just him one-on-one, or takes him, you know, something to go to Walmart or Kroger. But when he goes somewhere, he'll take Martin. So he doesn't feel left out. But now, since they were only allowed one parent to come, one of us was staying home, and he really liked that. But
we've been together through most all of it. We've, you know, tried to do things together.
With tag team.
You know, we're pretty much a tag team as far as that goes. And you have to be, because it's not, you know, it's not a one-person deal. I mean, she can't do everything, and I can't do everything. Together, we can do what we need to do. And we've, you know, stuck together through all of it like that. But it's just, you know, it does really take a toll on a family life like that, because you're torn as to what you need to do. I mean, a lot of times he'll come to me with something that I don't really think it's, you know, that bad or whatever, but then he'll go to her and, well, we need to go do this. We got to, you know, let's get this done. So we wind up doing that kind of stuff. But you have to stay together, because it's, like I say, it's not a one-person thing, and it's no way one person is going to handle it all. No matter how hard you try, I mean, you know, you just have to give up some things. I mean, as being a man, you know, I got things I like to do on the outside. I mean, I've got a little garage where I work on small engines and stuff like this. And since all this has been going on, I haven't been able to do any of that. I'm having to stay at home with her to help her with him. You know, I mean, it's not right for her to do everything and me just go out and do what I want to do. It don't work that way.
We've been together for too long.
You have to pull together. And we've been married for 43 years, you know, and we've managed to pull together through all of it. I mean, but it does take a toll on a family life. It really does. On a marriage, it does pull. It makes it pull apart. But you've got to be strong enough to keep that back together. I mean, you just have to work together. That's all there is to it.
Oh, we hope this oral chemo that Aiden's taking, we hope that he lives a very long life. Like we told him, we don't know. He could live a year. He could live 6 years. He could live 100. We don't know. But we're just hoping this new chemo, the oral chemo, will keep it where it's at. It doesn't grow, hopefully to shrink, and that he can just live a long life and grow up and have a family.
You don't know that you're going to die today or tomorrow. You don't know that. We're all going to die eventually. We all know that. But you know, you don't know when you're going to go. And like, you know, it may be 10 years, it may be 15 years, who knows, you know. Just because they say it's terminal doesn't mean that you're going to die today or tomorrow morning. And I mean, it's possible that you could do either one, but, you know, as good a health and all as he's in, the way he's, you know, the things he does and this here, I don't feel like it's going to be anytime soon. I mean, he don't show any signs of pain, you know, anything like this. I mean, he has never complained about his chest hurting or anything of that sort. And
he don't,
you know,
they don't complain.
But, you know, we know it's going to eventually happen, and it's just, you know, like I said earlier, whatever happens, happens, and we just have to take the best of it and go with it and be done. That's all we can do.
And we just hope it's years and years and years later.
You know, we want him to have a good life, and I expect him to have a good life, and just, you know, try to keep him going the best we can so he can have a good life, you know. We just, you know, just tell him to hang on, just keep on going, and don't give up on it. You know, just know that, you know, that you cannot do everything you want to do. You're limited to what you can do.
He wants to ride a dirt bike.
You do with the best you got and just go for it, you know. Just give it all you got. And that's all he can do is, just, you know, just keep on going.